Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Big Fella Stadium here in Featherstone. Today's friendly match between the Featherstone Rovers and the Wakefield Trinity. Quick rundown of the team news for you, first of all. Starting with the Wakefield team at full-back is number 5, Ben Jones-Bishop. In the three quarters, number 28 is Judah Mazavi. Number 15 is Ashley Gibson. Number 18 is Joe Arundel. And number 24 is Mason Caton Brown. In the half-backs for the Wildcats, number 6 is Jacob Miller, and number 7 is Liam Finn. In the front row is number 8, a former Rover, is Anthony England. His ale partner, number 17, Craig Cuby. And in between those two, number 13 is Michael Seo. In the second row today for the Wakefield team, number 27 is James Batchelor. Number 11 is Liam Senior. And the loose forward has spent time down here at Rovers. It's number 26, Chris Anakin. On the bench for Wakefield, number 16 is Tinirao Arona. Number 22 is Jordan Crowther. Number 25 is Anthony Walker. Number 29 is Bradley Moles. Number 4 is Aaron York. Number 14 is Christian Ackroyd. And number 12 is Lee Kershaw. The Featherstone Rovers line up this afternoon. At full-back is number 1, Ian Hardman. In the three quarters, number 2 is James Duckworth. Number 22 is Jason Walton. Number 5 is Luke Briscoe. And number 18 is Scott Turner. In the half-backs today, number 7 is Anthony Thackeray. And number 19 is Matthew Wildy. In the front row, number 8 is Darryl Griffin. And he'll partner number 10, Andy Bostock. In between those two is number 9, Keil Carlisle. In the second row for Rovers, number 11 is Michael Knowles. Number 12 is Josh Davies. And the loose forward, number 13, is Bradley Tagg. On the bench for Rovers this afternoon, number 13 is... Brad Tagg's wearing 15, sorry. On the bench, number 13 is Richard Moore. 16 is Luke Cooper. Number 30 is Jack Ormondroyd. Number 23, fresh from signing a contract with Featherstone Rovers this week, is number 23, Josh Hardcastle. On dual registration from the Rhinos comes number 31, Corey Aston. Number 20 is Kyron Johnson. Number 6, Kyle Briggs. Number 24 is James Kitchen. And number 17 is Sam Day. And today's match referee is Mr. Race, who was officiating last week against the York City Knights. Unfortunately, Joanne this afternoon is laid up in bed with tonsillitis. So it's just over to you. Good afternoon, Joseph.
Good afternoon, Ben.
And your thoughts on the two lineups, first of all, please?
Well, for the opposition today, we've got quite a strong-looking lineup. Wakefield Trinity come to show respect for their opponents, and they're going to consider this a real hit-out in terms of testing their team ahead of a busy Super League campaign. Yeah, it's a team with plenty of youth in the side. You look at the likes of James Batchelor in there and Joe Arundel, Jordan Crowther. But they are people who will form a big part of that Wakefield squad going into this season. No surprise to see them in the team, and they're people who can certainly step up to the occasion here and will, of course, plenty of tests for the Rovers. The Featherstone team, well, we've seen a lot of partnerships develop so far this pre-season. Now we've got these two games against Super League sides before things kick off and start being competitive. We need to see those partnerships crystallise and who's going to get those starting spots, who's going to get their names in the 17 on a match day. You'd therefore be looking at those centre and wing positions. You've got Josh Hardcastle to come off the bench. Will he end up getting the starting berth in times to come? Or will Jason Walton and Luke Briscoe do enough in those centre roles to keep those positions? Will Kyron Johnson be able to force his way in? Or will Duckworth and Turner show that they've got what it takes to keep those places? The halves partnership, though, that one is going to be really interesting. Last week, we saw Wildy accompanied by Briggs. This week, we've got him accompanied by Thackeray once again. Who's going to get those two roles? It'll be key how Rovers go about their season. They're the pivots. They're the one who steers about the park. They've both got a chance to prove themselves today.
Indeed, and Mason Caton Brown brought in front by the Wildcats this pre-season. How big an impact do you think he can have on this Wakefield team?
Well, he's a very impressive player, London lad, and when he first broke into their team. He was very impressive. Could be a real test for the Rovers today. Could be a real success story at the Wildcats this season now as the players walk out onto the field.
Indeed, and interesting, you talked about the halfback combinations. 2 halfbacks on the bench as well as the 2 starting halfbacks. Corey Aston, of course, on dual registration from the Rhinos in the beginning of this season and today, and also we know all about Jack Ormondroyd. Just how big an impact do you think Corey Aston can make on dual registration here to try and force his way into his first team?
For me, it's less about what Corey Aston's actually capable of, because John Sharp said the best players will play if they're available to him. It's more about if you're Kyle Briggs, Matty Wilder, you're looking over your shoulder and you're thinking, I've got to prove myself, because otherwise this young whippersnapper's going to come in and he's going to take my place. So Corey Aston, it's less about what he can actually offer to the team and more about how he makes other players step up in their game.
He will have a big part to play your fancy this season, at least in the early stages on dual registration. It looks like the Wakefield team are going to get first use of the ball. It's a pre-season friendly here at the Big Fella Stadium. It's Featherstone Rovers against Wakefield Trinity. Today's match referee is Mr. Race, who was here last week for the Ian Hardman testimonial. It's going to be Ian Hardman who starts this game. And it's Featherstone Rovers against the Wakefield Wildcats. And I think, Joe, the big thing for us is we need a good start. If we can get in the face of the Wakefield early, put them under pressure, there's no reason why Rovers can't get a foothold in this game.
Well, last season, Ben, Featherstone got into the top 4. They got to compete in those middle 8s. But once they were there, they didn't really show enough in those stages to think they could challenge for a Super League place. This time, every player that you speak to says top 4 is a minimum. And once they're there, they want to be competitive. Therefore, we have to be able to compete against teams of a similar calibre to Wakefield.
Here are the Wildcats then. On the charge, it was Michael Seo, gets them up to halfway.
They're not the Wildcats anymore. Let's not be having that again.
My apologies, Wakefield. So, they are into the Rovers half. Here they go then. It's Chris Anakin. Rovers know all about the damage Chris Anakin can do from his time here at Featherstone on dual registration a couple of years ago. And he was an impressive player for Rovers then. And the Wildcats are up to the Rovers 20 in from touch. On that right-hand side, they go the short side, a dink over the top. But who else is there but Ian Hardman? He had his testimonial last week with 2 tries. And we talked about it a lot this pre-season, or I have especially, about his reading of the game. Again, read that play so well and able to take that ball on the full show. And he's such an integral part of this Rovers team.
Well, we're talking about players who need to prove themselves, and he's proved himself time and time again. You look at who's going to fill those places on the team sheet, you can guarantee he'll be starting at fullback every week.
So here are the Rovers then on their own 30. Ball comes right, it's John Davies. Makes a good 10 metres before he is tackled by Liam Senior. Down the short side, it's Keil Carlisle. A kick over the top, but that's well taken over his head by Ben Jones-Bishop. And a good return, makes about 20 metres. And the Wildcats starting, Joe, 35 out.
Well, it's a completed set for Featherstone, and that's the most important thing. But you've got to find a turf for the kicks, otherwise you're going to get a decent return from a nippy lad like Jones-Bishop. And it's too far out for Wakefield to be starting a set, really.
And so the Wildcats on halfway. 3 or 4 tackles gone in this set. Ball comes in field. England moves that ball through the hands. Here's Jones-Bishop again. He steps away from one, but well met in the end by Keil Carlisle and John Davies. Ball comes down the short side now. Through the hands it goes. And it's Joe Arundel. And there's the first penalty of the afternoon. To the Wildcats. Rovers just hanging on too much in the tackle there. So Wildcats are going to have the first real opportunity of the afternoon, Joe, in the Rovers 20 on the back of that penalty. And this will be a good early test for Rovers.
A test of Rovers' line defence, Ben, most importantly. There are going to be times this season where they're tested and they need to show that they can hold out.
So here's Anthony England on the charge. 7 meters away, right under those sticks. Seo waits, attacking halfback. He'll come left. Oh, but it's juggled. And the Wildcats that were over. It's Jacob Miller from the pass from Seo. Fouts in halfback. It came left. The ball was juggled by Jacob Miller, but was able to go forward, take the ball and dive over. Probably about midway between the left-hand upright and the left-hand corner flag. Not the start that Featherstone Rovers wanted, though. And with 4 minutes gone, it's Wakefield 0. Featherstone 0. Wakefield 4.
Well, in all honesty there, Ben, whilst it's going to be disappointing for Featherstone to concede so early, and the first time that they were really under pressure from Wakefield, it is a case of it was a unusual try to concede. Miller juggled the ball, and that can make a player step off. They're unsure of what they need to do, whether they need to go and claim that or still continue to stay with their man and make sure they finish their tackle. On that occasion, they did neither, and that's what allows him to go through the line rather fortuitously and cross to put his side in front.
So here is the conversion attempt. It's straight between the uprights it goes. So with 5 minutes gone, it's not the start that Rovers want, but Wakefield will be happy enough with that one. It's Featherstone Rovers 0, it's Wakefield 6.
The thing it always is about with Featherstone Rovers is when they go down early doors, do the heads go down or is there a great response? So it needs to be a big long kick from Ian Hardman. We've got a fullback finally kicking the ball at the restart now, so that means every single other player can chase forward and they can be breathing down Wakefield's necks now as they return this ball.
That's indeed, that's a good point there, Joe, but just mentioned there, somebody we've not mentioned in the build-up to this game, Joseph, is another former Rover in the Wakefield team. Converting that try, of course, was Liam Finn.
Well, Jacob Miller was the man who finished the try on the edges, but Liam Finn is the general. He's the man who runs the show, just like he was down at Featherstone, and that's what we'll expect to see from him today.
So the ball swung left again. Miller through the hands of Jones Bishop. A good defence by Rovers on that occasion. 3 in the tackle. Bostock, Walton, and Carlisle. No, not Wildy, sorry. Here goes England. Having Matthew Wildy back in the side, it's almost like having a new signing with him missing, the whole of the season last year. There's a deep kick from Wakefield, which Duckworth does not take. I thought he had.
He took the ball, but straight away he's hit with a tackle from the Wakefield man. So Wakefield have the ball back. It's the 0 tackle here.
Here's Finn. Long pass out wide, but there's a penalty for Featherstone for crossing. So Wakefield bomb an opportunity there, running round their man. So huge let off for Featherstone after that mistake from Duckworth, Joe.
Yeah, Duckworth, unfortunate, to be honest. It was a great chase from Wakefield. Puts him under pressure straight away. He's not got time to have taken the ball in properly, and the knock-on is forgivable. Featherstone, though, with the get-out-of-jail-free card here, as they gain some territory with the penalty kick there.
So here we are, Rovers on the charge. That's a great first drive in by Featherstone Rovers. It's Jason Walton. It's such a big unit. It's almost like having another forward. And here's John Davis now on the 40.
Well, he's a centre who can play in the second row, Ben, but he does run the ball in forcefully. Featherstone, though, coughing up possession once again there with the knock-on.
Darryl Griffin just asking the question of Mr. Race there. But Mr. Race, no, it was a knock-on. So Rovers can't keep turning possession over in their own half, Joe. And they need to tidy up the control of the ball a bit.
Yeah, it looks like Griffin was complaining about some interference at the ruck there, but the referee's not having any of it. He's brought him out and brought his captain Ian Hardman out. Worrying signs here, though, over on Rovers' right flank, as James Duckworth seems to be walking off to the sidelines, but no, he's not having any of it. He doesn't want the replacement. Looks like he took a little too much in that challenge, though, and the coaching staff aren't having any of it. Kyron Johnson's got to enter the field now in place of James Duckworth, just in time for that scrum.
Pretty adequate replacement, though. Kyron Johnson, he'll be looking to grasp his opportunity this afternoon. He'll be on a lot earlier than he would have thought. Barely 9 minutes on the clock.
Definitely. That's a wise decision from the coaching staff, though. Pre-season friendly, ultimately. It might be against a local rival, but there's no sense making that injury any more severe than it could be.
Here's Anthony England, runs straight at Darryl Griffin. Gets the ball away, though. And here come the Wildcats now with Craig Hubie. He also gets the ball away to Seahouse. And on the charge now is Liam Finn. 12 metres out. Ball swings right. Miller inside pass. And that's the ball lost from Wakefield. It was Chris Anakin, so Rovers defence holding firm on that occasion. And that's better for Rovers. They can take heart from that one, Joe.
Yeah, Wakefield was set up there and they came out as with pace. They used the man on the inside, but luckily we'd numbered off correctly and were able to adapt to the situation. Ultimately, it forces the knock on and it's Anakin's closed down on and we win possession of the ball back.
There's a penalty for Featherstone. That's offside from Wakefield. The usual differential penalty that Joanne loves us to get. We usually end up with at least one a game. A quick penalty taken as well. Good yardage up to the 40. Wakefield moving up too quickly off the mark, Joe, and they'll be disappointed with that one.
Yeah, definitely. Perhaps it's one of those early season things. The rule change, of course, now forcing players 10 metres back from where the scrum is set rather than 5 metres of the back of the scrum. They'd creep back a little forward to their usual positions and because of that get blown for offside.
Here's Michael Knowles over on that left-hand side. Ball swung in field. Thackeray now to Griffin. Flat pass there to Brad Tagg. I don't think Brad Tagg quite appreciated that one. Here's Griffin again. That's better to Wilder. Here's Davies. But good defence there. Jacob Miller with the tackle. Matty Wilder waits. He comes infield. Here's Bostock. He gets the ball away. Griffin to Hardman. Hardman. Rovers up inside the Wakefield 30 now. 25 out.
I'm not sure how much Darryl Griffin knew about his ball into Hardman there, but it came off and Ian Hardman earns a penalty there. So Featherstone with their first real chance at getting over the Wakefield line. They take the tap. It's going Griffin to take this first drive in. Draws 3 men into the tackle and gets us 10 metres out. Bang in the centre of the field. Lots of tackles in the bag then.
Indeed, great play from Rovers. I saw the Wakefield defensive line deep. Thackeray through a gap. Superb play down that left-hand side. It was a great drive in from Darryl Griffin. From the ball, the ball swung out left. Anthony Thackeray lost his momentum for about half a second. Through an outrageous dummy, the gap opened up. And Anthony Thackeray straight through that gap. 10 metres to the left of those sticks. And Rovers hit back. It's Featherstone Rovers 4, Wakefield 6. Joe.
Well, Anthony Thackeray there, Ben. To be honest, the pass that comes to him, it's a bit off, really. It's up over his head. He takes the ball, though, and he uses that to shift the weight on his feet. He shifts direction and cuts inside. The Wakefield defence aren't ready for it. They're set up for the passing move that's going over to that left side. Featherstone did have it set. That was where the ball was going to go. He's a player who can adapt, though. He's a player who looks and sees what's in front of him. He did so there, and that's why he goes over. And you fancy now that it's got to be Michael Knowles to level the scoring with this conversion.
So Michael Knowles, and it's about 10 metres to the left of the uprights. 13, 14 metres out from the line. Wakefield with a 6-4 lead. Here comes the kick. It's flat, but it's good. Between the H's it goes. And Rovers hit back with 12 and a half gone. It's Featherstone 6, Wakefield 6, Joe.
You've got to say, Ben, it's not a day for defences, though, is it? There's been 2 points in the match where either side has been attacking the other's line. On both occasions, the team scored. They'll both want to step up. The coaches won't be happy on the sidelines, and definitely that line defence isn't going to take you anywhere once the competitive season starts. Andy Bostock scrambling to take the ball there. Does so just before it goes dead and manages to return it, get his team onto the 10-metre line.
That was disappointing. Rovers there, not quite positioned correctly, but Liam Finn found a gap superbly. And Andy Bostock just able to stay in the field of play.
Well, Liam Finben isn't a man with the longest kicking game, but he's got such a knack of being able to get the ball to roll on forcefully once it hits that first bounce. It did so there, and it fooled the Featherstone players.
Knowles gets that ball out there to Briscoe, but dumped to the floor is Briscoe. Knowles picks up again, and that's great play from Michael Knowles. He stayed in the field of play somehow on the back of 3 players in that tackle. Excellent work from Knowles, and here are Rovers now. We're on the last tackle, so it's Thackeray. Wild his kick, finds the ground, but it hasn't really got the depth. And Ben Jones-Bishop is able to pick up, and he'll start 38 metres out, but what
it's a fantastic shot from John Davis is that. Plonks Ben Jones-Bishop right on his backside, and Wakefield seemed to have the upper hand with that defensive set. They'd kept Rovers within their own 30, forced them to kick out from deep.
Shocking play from Wakefield. Sorry to interrupt you there, Joe. Jones-Bishop and Arundel making a real mess of that one. Jones-Bishop appeared to run into the back of Joe Arundel to me, and then realised he was going to be penalised and just coughed up possession. And here's Andy Bostock now on the Wakefield 30, and Thackeray, he gets a kick in for the corner, out there to be chased, but Wakefield cover back well. And Wakefield, the architects of their own downfall then.
Just a bizarre period of play, but to me, you've got to take it back to that shot from John Davis. He immediately gives Featherstone the upper hand at that point, and Wakefield are a little bit rattled. They cough up possession. No sooner Featherstone down the other end with a kick that could have set up a try. Now, though, we see it swing the other way. Featherstone giving away a penalty, which they didn't need to do, and that's released all pressure that was on the Trinity side.
On the Wakefield 20, that'll disappoint John Sharp there. Not what Rovers need to be doing. They had the Wildcats penned back. Clock is stopped. And Wakefield penned back. The clock is stopped though. Time back on. So Finn takes that penalty, gets Wakefield 5 metres shy of halfway. Finn again now. Through the hands it goes. Here's Craig Hubie. On halfway, in fact, just over halfway he goes. Seo waits, he'll come left. Here's Anthony England now. He'll know this ground very well, as will Liam Finn, of course. Seo attacks in half, that swings the ball in field. That's a good drop-off pass from Finn. To Hubie again. Wildcats just outside the Rovers 30. Finn now. Takes on the line, finds Miller. Miller, that look forward from here. Here's Jones-Bishop again though. Still going. And he's 8 metres out. 10 to the right of the uprights. Here's Liam Finn. Finn swings it out to Miller. Miller with a long ball out wide. But look at that Featherstone defence on the Zazen. Superb covering, sliding defence across. Wakefield showing how dangerous they can be in attack, bringing that ball forward well through the likes of Jacob Miller. Miller's pass out wide to Maziva, who for a minute looked to have a clear run. But that Rovers defence, Joe, so quick to get across and force him into touch, and that'll be really pleasing for the Rovers team.
It was a lovely fluid attack from Wakefield, one way then the other, but we saw the perfect combination in this outside channel from Featherstone there. Kyron Johnson came across with great speed, but then it was a real hit from Jason Walton, which takes them over the touchline. There was no way they were crossing for that try there.
So Rovers back in possession again. That's a good drive in from Briscoe. He's able to dump that ball away. And another 10 metres made, but then Rovers have put the ball down.
It was Keil Carlisle who got the ball away to tag. It's round his knees though, and he just can't keep a hold of it before running into the Wakefield men, losing possession. And it's Trinity on the attack once again.
Rovers, the architects of their own downfall. They're getting in good position to look to build. Every time they look to build a little bit of momentum, they're turning over possession cheaply, or if it's a momentum in defence, a cheap penalty, and they need to try and tidy up that facet of the game a bit, don't they?
Things just don't quite seem to be clicking, but part of that is the experimentation that's going on. I don't think that early in the set, Carlisle needed to be giving the ball to tag there. But equally, Tag was running for that ball. He was wanting it. And had he taken it successfully, you fancy he could have burst through that line.
Here's Hubie then for Wakefield, 15 metres out, centre field. England gets a good 10 metres made. Wakefield 5 out under those sticks now. Great opportunity to retake the lead here. Finn, he shows and goes. He's lost that ball though. Rovers have come up with it. It's a knock on from Liam Finn. Is it?
Yeah, he's awarded a knock on. It was a loose carry as the third man comes in and hits it.
Rovers manning up in defence. So great defence it was to keep Liam Finn out, to force that ball loose. And there was a chance created out of their own mistakes from Rovers' point of view, but they defended it well.
Yeah, they made sure that Wakefield weren't going to get any second phase there. They was wrapping up. So the offloads weren't going to come. That's what you've got to do when you're deep in your own territory. Make sure that they can't ship the ball out wide again, because once they've drawn the defence in, it's going to be difficult to cover.
So scrum down, head and feet to Rovers on their own 10-metre line. Here's Walton. Good defence from CO. Rovers on the charge. That's Michael Knowles. That's a great drive. Fully baked 10, 15 metres there. Quick play of the ball. Carlisle on the quick drive as well. This is better from Rovers. Within 3 tackles, they're up to the 40. There's a long kick which is picked up by Mazivi. Rovers then defending the Wildcats in their own 30. There's an offload away. Here's Miller now. Met well by Thackeray, but the referee is going to penalise that. That looks the more shoulder to me. The referee said it was high, but a bit of a... Not so sure about kicking on the third tackle.
It's 10 metres more for descent from Thackeray though, and Wakefield with a penalty now on the 40. It was good long range on the kick though from Knowles. They'd got us out well, and we weren't going to go much further before we could kick. The wingers weren't dropped, of course, which is why we gained that extra yardage. Also, you've got to pay credit to that kick chase, because we did have them pinned inside their own 30 before the penalty was given.
Here's Chris Anakin. He's lost that ball, but the referee says that was stolen by Bradley Tagg and Darryl Griffin, much to the displeasure of the Rovers fans underneath us. So, a penalty for the Wildcats, which Miller takes.
This will be another test for Featherstone now, as they've got to defend their own line from Wakefield for a third time now.
Arundel plays the ball to CO. Miller, through the hands it goes to Hubie.
Ultimately, we can be disappointed about how this has come about, but this is the kind of test we needed in pre-season.
Miller again, out the back door. And Mazzini puts it down again. This time, the Rovers defence were not going to get to him if that pass had gone to hand. It was a brilliant pass out there by Jones Bishop. And if he'd taken it in, he did have a clear run to the line, Joe. He just couldn't put it in. The ball sails into touch, and Rovers survive again.
No doubt about it. Mazivi was home and dry there. But it's absolutely criminal to not take that ball in. I fancy he was already seeing his name in lights before he caught it, and that's why ultimately he's choked.
But Rovers surviving again. It's a combination of Wakefield mistakes, so great scrambling defence. As Rovers get another penalty for offside at the scrum. That's the second one in 23 minutes. Thackeray with the kick. Gets good yardage on that one.
Well, there's only one answer to this really, Ben, and that's that Steve Race has heard that Joanne is ill and not at the match, and therefore he's giving as many differential penalties as possible, just to spite her, really.
That obviously is the correct answer. Wildy now finds Walton. Walton on the charge. He looks impressive this opening quarter as Jason Walton. Right from that very first drive of the match. And here's Jack Ormondroyd. Rovers fans, a real fans' favourite down here. Carlisle comes right now. Wildy puts Davies almost to a gap. And Keele Carlisle just couldn't pull that ball in. It was a superbly worked move down this right-hand side. John Davis put through a gap by Matthew Wildy. And then the pass inside, and Keel Carlisle just couldn't reach that ball. Otherwise, Joey had a certain walking.
It was an exquisite bit of play, and had it come off, which it was agonisingly close to doing so, would have been probably the try of pre-season. While this beautifully delayed pass puts Davies through, he steps inside brilliantly and miraculously works out an offload just inches in front of Carlisle's fingertips.
As the Wildcats make a change, off comes Craig Hubie. And on comes Tinarau Arona. Miller. That's a great ball on Arona's first drive in, but well met by Davis again. Here's Miller again. The dink over the top from Miller. Hardman. Safe as houses, Ian Hardman. His judgment there superbly. He knew there was too much on there. Just had to shepherd the ball out. And did that superbly, and Rovers with the restart on the 20 job.
Well, that's a little bit of what Featherstone have needed so far in this game, some composure, because there's been times when we've been a bit panicky, we forced things, and at that point Ian Hardman knew that the players were too far away to get near him, and that if he let the ball coast out there, we'd earn ourselves a 20-metre restart and be able to kick things off. Now with an additional tackle in the bag, of course, at the 20-metre restart, it'll be a 0 tackle on the first tackle.
There's a kick from Wildy. That's a better kick if it can hold up. And it does. That is superb kick from Matty Wildy. Jones Bishop has to feed it to retrieve it 2 metres out. As on comes Richard Moore for Rovers, and off comes Brad Tagg. But that's a much better kick there from Rovers, Joe.
It was unfortunate timings with the interchange, to be honest. There's 2 players came off there for Luke Cooper and Richard Moore, which meant there were 2 men out of the line in the kick chase. Therefore, it was quite fragmented. They couldn't be as aggressive, and Wakefield were able to get out that little bit more.
So Cooper and Moore are on. Brad Tagg was one of the players who went off. As England puts that ball down, Rovers are going to start. Rovers, though, is held up there by Miller.
Yeah, there's no advantage there for Featherstone, so it's going to be their scrum just inside the Wakefield half now. Brilliant Bay defence, though. Jumped up, and too much pressure for Wakefield. Couldn't keep hold of the ball.
We've got 14 minutes left in this first half. It's still Featherstone 6, Wakefield 6. 2 tries in the game. The Wakefield team took the lead first through Jacob Miller, converted by Liam Finn, before Anthony Thackeray danced his way through the Wakefield line to be converted by Michael Knowles. Rovers are certainly holding their own, though, in this match at the minute. There's been 1 or 2 players look like they're really stepping up the games today. And there's one of them for me, Jason Walton, who finds Luke Cooper now. And Jason Walton, for me, Joe, has really impressed pre-season.
He's such a forceful runner, Ben, and in pre-season, when perhaps not everyone's up for it, that kind of player is always going to impress.
There's Richard Moore on Rovers, 25 metres out. Carlisle comes right, Wildy. He'll put a dab through for Johnson. Oh, it just skipped away. I thought for a minute it was going to hold up for Kyron Johnson then, but it just spun away at the very last minute and ran dead. It's been a restart for the Wildcats on the 20 as they make another change. On comes Jordan Crowther. Joe.
If your money was going to be on anyone to catch that ball, it would have been Kyron Johnson. So if he couldn't quite reach it, I don't think there's anyone on the park who could have.
So here are the Wildcats. Here are Wakefield, sorry. That's a good drive out of action half from Theo. Gets the Wakefield team up to halfway. Referee making sure Featherstone are back the full 10. Here's the interchange. Jordan Crowther. Wakefield making good yards on this set. And that's Arona. Wakefield just inside the Rovers 30. It's Liam Finn. He'll put that ball in the air. And who else is going to take that? But Ian Hardman. Another superb take. A good kick from Finn. But safe as you like. Ian Hardman again. And Rovers again able to keep this Wakefield team out, Joe.
It has been much more impressive as a defensive effort. since that first 10 minutes. And definitely Featherstone do look a little more secure in that department. Wakefield, though, keeping them contained every time they get back possession of the ball. They need to be able to break out easier than this. Santi Fakri does his best there. He works out the offload. Here we are. It's Gil Carlisle. Plays it inside to Hardman. Hardman's looking over to his right. He finds Fakri once more, but Fakri comes to ground just inside the Wakefield 40. Surely that's going to be pinged for holding down, but no. The referee says get up, and Hardman works out to Davies.
Oh.
Davies gets it to Walton, but Walton knocks on the ball there. And it's going to be a scrum down to Wakefield.
That could so easily have been a penalty for Ian Hardman. The referee saying, no penalty, you get up, you're milking that. And then, but what a break it was down the middle of the park, Joe. Superb break it was. Centre field and Wakefield defence did look to be stretched for a minute, but in the end scrambled back well and were able to cut the chance out.
It was a lovely fluid bit of play, Ben, and you fancy that we might have been in had Ian Hardman been able to play that ball straight away.
But as it is, it's a scrum down to the Wakefield team on the 20. We've got 10 minutes left to half time. It's still Featherstone Rovers 6, Wakefield 6. And here's Aroni. But this Rovers defence is really solid, tightened up and strengthened up in this since that opening 10-minute spell. Here's Jones Bishop now. Ball's worked out left, but again, look at that defence from Featherstone Rovers. Mazivi finds Miller. That's a good drive in there from Anthony Walker in off the bench. Miller again. That was a forward pass. So Wakefield on halfway with a forward pass to Jacob Miller. But I have to say, in this first half, Joe, Jacob Miller looks dangerous every time he gets this ball.
Well, Miller's a young lad and he's got plenty of inconsistencies within his game, but he was one of the bright sparks for Wakefield last year because he's capable of doing things that most players in their teams couldn't dream of doing. And ultimately, if he looks at a team, picks his head up and decides to go for a gap, good chunk of the time he's got to find a way through it.
Jason Walton just getting some treatment there. It looks like he's coming off. No, he's not. He's staying on. He was just getting some treatment for a minute. Billy Mallinson just checking with the bench. And they're saying, no, he can stay on. Chris Aluja was stripped off, ready to come on then. But no, he's staying off for now. And here's Ian Hardman. Be a blow to lose someone like Jason Walton, won't it? Because he's really has stood out in these pre-season games.
It would, but I also fancy that Walton might have done enough to secure his place in the side. Chris Aluja, on the other hand, we've not seen him yet. And I'm excited to see what he can do in a Rovers shirt.
Thackeray gets that ball out wide to Briscoe. Dumped to the ground, done ceremoniously there. And then the Wildcats are penalised as well.
You do fancy that Carlisle might have been playing for that penalty, Ben. But Featherstone do have all their tackles in the bag now as they're just 10 metres out from this Wakefield line down the centre of the field.
It's Luke Cooper who plays that ball. Ball swung out left to Thackeray. Thackeray with a drop-off pass to Knowles. Great defence, though, from the Wakefield team. Thackeray again now. Finds Richard Moore, goes back where he came from. Moore for a gap. Oh, inches short. Rovers players on this near side here. All with the hands in the air. Thackeray now. It's juggled by Ormondroyd. It's over! Jack Ormondroyd is over! He had Ben Jones Bishop on his back. And all this Rovers players on this near side wanted it swinging out wide. Thackeray found Ormondroyd, who looked to have so much to do. And he looked for a minute to be held up, but showed so much strength. Jack Ormondroyd to get over just a couple of metres to the right of the sticks. And with 8 minutes left here in the first half, as Ian Hardman comes to the touchline for instructions, it's Featherstone Rovers 10, Wakefield 6. Joe.
Jack Ormondroyd's game is about powerful running where he can burst through a line and keep going because of the pace of his legs. On that occasion, the ball was put behind him. He was 10 metres out from the posts. somehow he managed to twist around, and on that occasion, he showed us something else in his character. He showed us his determination to find a way to put that ball over the line, manages that, and he's put his side in front finally for the first time in this game.
It is going to be Michael Knowles with this conversion attempt just a couple of metres to the right of the uprights. And I have to say, Joe, when I saw a picture of Jack Ormonroyd in that Rhino shirt after the friendly against Wakefield, it didn't look right on him for me. As Michael Knowles converts, Ormonroyd, a Fev lad through and through. And yes, he's now playing for the Rhinos, but he will welcome the chance to be back down here, won't he?
Well, he's definitely going to have a chance to prove himself here at Featherstone. And, you know, if he can't break into that Leeds team, then he's more than welcome to spend some time down here.
Michael Knowles successful with that conversion. There's the kickoff from Wakefield. It's picked up by Ian Hardman, and here's Luke Cooper now. So Rovers with a 12-6 lead going into half-time. About 6 minutes left in this first half. And how big a boost would it be for this Rovers team to go in with the noses in front against what is a strong Wakefield team and who have looked dangerous?
Well, it's something they wouldn't have expected the way this half started, but they've come into the game more and more as they've got chances to test Wakefield. They've got over on both occasions.
So Rovers now just shy of halfway, and there's a penalty. Too long in the tackle, Bradley Moles. So Rovers with a penalty on halfway. Ian Hardman just in discussion with the referee there. So another chance to build some more pressure. Thackeray gets the penalty. Rovers starting 15 inside the Wakefield half. Is Jack Ormonroyd. What a drive that is from Ormonroyd. Barging his way through there. And here's Wildey now. Finds Hardman. That superbly works. Jason Walton. What defence that was.
An unbelievable handoff from Walton. I was sure he was over there.
Wildey. Here's Luke Cooper, but good defence again. We'll come back to Joe on that in a minute. Inches short. Luke Cooper still going. Ball comes right. Here's Wildey again. It's an attempted intercept. The ball's put down. Forward pass, in fact. Is it?
Yeah, blown for the forward pass there, so it's got to be a scrum down in favour of Wakefield here.
But what a move again down this right-hand side, Joe. Which just, with Jason Walton on the charge, inches short, he looked to be all the world a try scorer, didn't he?
Wakefield are the Super League side here, but Featherstone looking threatening every time they're attacking their opposition's line. Jason Walton, of course, a Wakefield player last year, made over 20 appearances for the team, but he's looking mighty good out there in a Featherstone shirt.
He is indeed, and it was a scrum down heading free to Wakefield. But Rovers doing well if they can keep the discipline to pin this Wakefield team back in their own 20 at the minute. They're only just outside there now. But look at this defence. Ormonroyd, it seems on fire at the minute. As here come the Wildcats, the Wakefield team, sorry. There's a scoop from Maxine Harpat from Wolves. Rovers have got a player down in back play.
It's Jack Ormonroyd. I think he's taken a boot in the face there as he made that tackle one-on-one.
But he's started this game like a player possessed, Jack Ormonroyd, hasn't he?
Well, he knows the way that some of the front row for Featherstone have been playing. He's someone who's got to impress. There he was, though, making that one-on-one tackle against Anthony Walker. And just as Walker got up to play the ball, there was no malice in it. But gotta hope this isn't too serious for Jack Ormonroyd.
He is up on his knees. He looks to be okay. Physio and the doctor are both with him. With it being a head injury, they will take as long as they need to take with this. Certainly don't want to rush it, and they have got the option, of course, of the concussion interchange if they want to use that.
In honesty, it's not much use in pre-season when players can come and go as they please on the field.
But what a first half this has been, though, Joe. From the minute one, Rovers, probably the first 10 minutes or so, Wakefield looked, they came out on top. They came out like a greyhound after the rabbit, if you like. But Rovers gradually ground their way back into this game, and they have really come on leaps and bounds, and they're almost on top at the moment, I think.
It was all guns blazing early doors from Wakefield, but they've had nowhere else to go from that, and Featherstone have. They've improved throughout this game, and now I would say the dominant side.
So, here's Ian Hardman again. Briscoe. Signed on a 3-year deal, of course, Luke Briscoe. That's a great signing for Rovers from a Rovers point of view. To get him on a 3-year deal, Luke Briscoe, when he was on dual reg last season. That's a really great coup. But Rovers have turned possession
it's
over.
More there. He lost the ball, and Wakefield have moved it out wide quickly.
But scrambling defence again. Rovers able to get across to Caton Brown. Oh, look at that defence.
Well, Moore, he lost possession of the ball, but he's quickly made amends for that with a tackle. It was thundering there from Moore.
It was indeed. And Wakefield, though, really pressuring this Rovers line now. How's the goal line defence? Finn finds Miller. Miller stretches it out wide. And this time Mazivi is in. He's bombed 2 chances early doors, Mazivi, throughout this first half, but able to dive over in the corner. Disappointment from a Rovers point of view. But Wakefield, with just under 4 minutes left of the first half, pull the scores level. It's Featherstone Rovers 12, Wakefield Trinity 10.
Well, with his first chance, it was great defence from Featherstone to force Maziv out. On his second chance, he chokes. He can't take in the ball. On the third time, he does manage to get the ball down, but that's one of the most unnecessary dives for the corner I think I've ever seen to score it. Comes off, though, in the end, and he's put his side just too short. And with the kick to come, if Liam Finn can send this over, they'll be level with 3 minutes until the break. Featherstone players then gathered behind the sticks. You do wonder with 3 minutes left on the clock what they have left to offer. Is the short kickoff a possibility? Is pre-season's the perfect opportunity to rehearse things like that? There will be times, there'll be big pressure games where you'll be looking at that for an option.
Certainly it is an option as well. And Liam Finn, of course, knows every inch of this ground from his time here down at the Rovers. So here he comes with the conversion attempt. He is tight to this touchline.
But it's Liam Finn, the world record holding goal kicker, that skews it wide of the posts there.
You timed that saying just right then, Joe. Just as you said, but it's Liam Finn, the world record, and then he fluffed his lines. So no conversion there. Rovers may well be going in with the noses in front here. We've got 2 minutes left in this first half, and it's Featherstone Rovers 12, Wakefield Trinity 10.
Uri Geller, taught him everything he knows, Ben. Taught him everything he knows. Kyron Johnson there taking the kickoff instead of Ian Hardman and resuming his position on the wing. That one might give a little bit away as to where the ball's going if used too often. Featherstone, though, giving away the penalty here for a high tackle. It relieves that pressure again, and it's going to be Wakefield with a final chance to score in this half, you'd fancy.
They're going to start inside the Rovers half, just 5 metres inside, in fact.
It was a great touch finder.
It was indeed, and here's Liam Finn now. Rovers will want to go in with the noses in front. It'd be such a blow for them if Wakefield can score again here. The ball's left with Miller. Miller moves that ball out on the charge to Arona. He's on the 30-metre line now. Into the last minute on the stadium clock. And the Wildcats on the Rovers 20. Centre field. Here's Liam Finn again. Didn't take the option. He chose to take the tackle. There's a player down in the Wakefield line, so referee calls time off. 4 tries in this first half. It's been an entertaining first half. Started off well for the Wildcats with a try from Jacob Miller after just 4 minutes. Rovers didn't take long to hit back though. A try from Anthony Thackeray, which was converted by Michael Knowles. And then Rovers, in fact, after 20 minutes of pretty much controlling the game, but not really taking the chances, Jack Ormondroyd was then able to go over for Rovers to be converted by Michael Knowles. Then we've seen a try from Azivi, who did bomb 2 earlier chances, one through great defence from Rovers and one putting the ball down with an open line. He was able to get over in the corner to make it 12 points to 10. Liam Finn fluffed his lines, so Rovers with the narrowest of 2-point leads, and so it has been an exciting first half.
It's definitely been exciting, Ben, but sometimes excitement's not one you want in when it's caused by 2 teams that can't defend their own line. Down the middle of the park, there's been some decent attempts to contain one another. Too many penalties given away ultimately. But every time it's been down at the opposition end, it's looked like either team could score.
Billy Mellinson there is signalling in for an interchange. It's Michael Knowles who's down. That is a massive blow for Rovers. They'll be hoping this isn't too serious, and they're taking him off as a precaution. I think it's going to be Brad Tagg who's coming back on just for the remaining few seconds of this first half. But they won't want to lose Michael Knowles for too long.
He's been a very impressive player in pre-season, and he's a player that most Featherstone fans were very excited about.
In fact, no,
before he came in, but he's going to soldier on.
I think if it had been any further away than half-time, brought up, I think so close to half-time. In fact, one play, Miller. And it looked to be through there. The Wildcats have bombed it though. Jones, Bishop and Miller are trying to score off the last play, but not able to do so. Like I was saying then, if it had been any earlier in the half, I think you would probably see Michael Knowles withdrawn. But one play, it is half-time. And Joe, and like we were just saying then, an exciting first half.
Definitely an exciting first half. Interesting that we didn't see Sam Day come on at all. Keogh Carlisle played that entire first 40 minutes and was superb for the majority of it, I thought. Be interesting to see if Sam Day's introduced in the second half or if he can go all the way.
Do you think we'll see the likes of Corey Aston in the second half, maybe? A few more of the interchanges coming on?
To me, there's not much sense in 9 players on the bench like that if you're not going to get to see them. We've not seen what Chris Alugi can do so far, but men have been impressive on the outside channels. We'll see.
Indeed, thanks very much for your company, Joe. It is half-time here at the Big Fella Stadium, and it's Featherstone Rovers 12, Wakefield 10. Good afternoon, welcome back to the second half here at the Big Fellas Stadium. Change for Rovers at half time. See the introduction of Chris Aluja. Is that for the first time this season? I think it is. I don't know if he played at Halifax or not. No, for the first time this year, we're going to see Chris Aluja then. Not sure yet who's come off. But yeah, Luke Briscoe. So Luke Briscoe is the man off, and Chris Aluja comes on. And it'll be a chance for Rovers to see what Chris Aluja can do, Joe.
Definitely, he's got all to prove, really. You think about the impressive start some of those people have made in the centres. Briscoe and Walton, who've been out there today for us, and of course Josh Hardcastle, who's been a real revelation for the Rovers so far.
He has indeed, and here is Jack Ormondroyd. Looks to be okay after the knock he took on half-time. First touch the ball for Chris Aluja, but good defence from the Wildcats. Carlisle then finds Richard Moore. Richard Moore looking for his offload. That's one thing Rovers have got now. We talk about Andy Bostock with the offload. The offload is also a key part of Richard Moore's game as well, as here goes Luke Cooper, Joe.
Definitely, and it's all about Featherstone being able to capitalise on that. They've got to make sure that you're always following up the likes of Andy Bostock and Richard Moore, because there will be some second phase available.
Great kick there from Anthony Thackeray, splitting the two defenders who had dropped back and forcing them to retrieve that ball, pick it up, giving the defensive line a chance. That was a great kick.
It was a great kick, but to be fair to Wakefield, Mazeve comes back with a fantastic return and gets his team out to the 30-metre line.
So here are the Wildcats. Here are Wakefield now then. That ball's worked out to the left-hand side, but good defence for Rovers. Johnny Davis in the tackle now. Rovers have also brought on Corey Aston at the start of this second half. I'm not sure who's come off for Corey Aston yet. So Corey Aston also gets a chance to shine, Joe.
Well, he's going to have to bring something to the table, because he's going to be coming in as an outsider on Joel Reg. Needs to show he's worthy of a place in the side.
Here at Wakefield then, just inside the Rovers 20. Ball comes right with Liam Finn. Finn with a reverse kick back through for Miller to chase. Good defence there. And who else is it going to be but Ian Hardman? It was a great reverse kick back on the angle from Liam Finn. Back towards the sticks for Miller to chase, but Ian Hardman, positional play again. He got across superbly. Just able to knock it dead. And for the first time, we've got a dropout, Joe.
Definitely dangerous from Trinity. To the two halfbacks looking to combine, but it's a fantastic scramble from Hardman. And it puts the ball safe.
So here are the Trinity again then. Bringing that ball forward. They're going to start just outside the Rovers 30. That ball swung out to that left-hand side with Liam Senior. And here the Wakefield on the charge. Oh, that's a loose pass though. Jones Bishop has to pick up. So here are Wildcats then, a couple of metres out. The ball's with Liam Finn. He danced away from Johnny Davis, but he is well wrapped up though. Cooper, Richard Moore, Jack Ormondroyd, all in that tackle. There's the ding through, it's picked up. Rovers are away. That's a great break, is it, Karen Johnson? What a superb break that was for Rovers. The ball swung left. Here's now Thackeray. Finds Aluja. Aluja steps in field. Rovers 15 metres away.
It was an unbelievable claim from Corey Aston, but Featherstone is still on the attack. Thackeray finds Carlisle. The Featherstone men, and Thackeray urging them forward, but Aluja is brought to ground there by Wakefield, and they've got all their men back now as they work it to the left side. Thackeray tries to shimmy his way through, but it's Liam Finn who wraps him up.
We'll come back to that in a minute as Carlisle gets that ball in field to Richard Moore now. Rovers inside that Wakefield 10-metre line. 5 metres away is Richard Moore. Carlisle waits. Swings that ball in field to Cooper. Cooper over everybody, finds Ian Hardman. Momentum's gone a bit. Hardman with a kick over the top. It's well fielded over on that far side. Well defended, should I say, by Mazivi, but what a break it was down the middle then. You said it was Corey Aston. I couldn't see who it was from here, but what a break, Joe.
Yeah, a little dink there, and Aston claims he had pace to burn, but in the end there were too many numbers of the Wakefield men tracking across to cover him, and he didn't have enough support to make use of to be able to find the way through. Featherstone, though, tried to spring the attack off that. Wakefield get back in numbers, unfortunately, and there weren't enough players in support to capitalise. Wakefield cough up possession now, though, and it's got to be another chance for Featherstone. Richard Moore earning has the ball back there, and it's high fives all round.
What a way to introduce yourself to Featherstone Rovers, Corey Aston, as well. First break, really. Probably over the first 2 or 3 touches of the ball, and what a break it was. But like Joe says, the Wakefield have coughed up possession on the 30-metre line, centre field, and another opportunity for Rovers to stretch that lead out further.
Definitely, and here we see it again. Players too far back at the scrum with this 10-metre rule, and therefore there's space to use. We look to ship it out wide there, but you fancy we could have gone further. We could have pushed our advantage there and tried to make use of it. Jason Walton, though, running the ball in forcefully there with some real venom to put his side on the front foot.
So Jason Walton's 11 metres out under the sticks. Moore shows it and then goes himself. Good play from Richard Moore. He created a half opening for himself there. Carlisle spins that pass out wide to Davis. But good defence from Wakefield there. Closed Johnny Davis down quickly.
They had to cut off that move because Featherstone had a man over on the far right side. Carlisle tries to worm his way over, gets the ball away to Davis. It's Aston now with the long ball to Fackery. Fackery works it out. Hardman's going to the line. He plays it into Alusia. And Alusia, he's only been on the field less than 7 minutes, but he's over for his first try in a Featherstone Rovers shirt and to extend the lead for his side.
What a superb move that was from Featherstone Rovers. From right to left, through the hands. Corey Aston started it again. Swung the ball in field, and then it found its way to Alucci, who still had so much work to do, but able to get through the gap, dive over, and he has made, well, 2 players who come on at half-time have made a real massive impact in this opening 10 minutes. And it's now Featherstone Rovers 16, Wakefield 10.
Yeah, there we are. Fantastic bit of play from Featherstone. 2 players who we said would need to impress here in pre-season because we've not seen them so far. Corey Aston coming into the side. He is the outsider on the dual reg system, but he's made 2 impacts in this game so far. That fantastic breakaway, he showed real pace. And then just there with the long pass out to Fackery. Fackery's then able to feed Hardman, who in turn gives the ball to Alusia. He scores his first try for Featherstone. Plenty of competition in that centre role, but he couldn't have done too much more so far.
Not at all. And you talk about the competition. As Michael Knowles converts that, we've got Luke Briscoe in there. Then we've still got Missy Talapapa to come in. Can you imagine the partnership, the rotation you could possibly have with the likes of Jason Walton, Chris Aluja and Missy Talapapa all rotating in the centre?
Unbelievable, Ben. And a couple of those capable of playing in the second row and wing positions. So it gives us great strength and depth in the outside. You then think of the players we've got available in that second row if you were going to force some of them inside, and the competition just translates all the way along the team. Davis then running the ball in against this Wakefield team. It's Carlisle. He picks it up from the foot of the ruck. Trying to get his team to have a roll on here.
And here goes Richard Moore over the 40. Rovers 5 metres shy of halfway. Thackeray again. Puts boot to ball. crucially, finds the touchline again. No, yes! Oh, that's a howler there from Ben Jones-Bishop. He picked the ball up, he tried to stay in the field of play, but he couldn't stay in the field of play. And Featherstone Rovers now, it was a 40-20, which is why he tried to keep it in the field of play, but he couldn't do it. And Rovers, with a 2-score lead, have got a scrum down head and feed on the Wakefield Trinity 10, and Joe, a chance to stretch it out further.
Well, Jones-Bishop there hesitant about taking the ball. Eventually he does, goes over the touchline, realises what he's done, tries to spill it back into the field of play and reclaim it. It's already too late though, as Alugia tries to force his way over. He's over again! It's the second try for Chris Alugia within the space of 3 minutes. Ben, what a start to his Featherstone Rovers career Chris Alugia has made.
Absolutely outstanding from the base of the scrum. The pass to the left came out of nowhere, and Chris Alugia dived over that line. And Featherstone Rovers are looking superb at the minute. What a start to the second half. 2 tries in 10 minutes. 2 tries in 3 minutes for Chris Alugia. And with 10 gone in the second half, it's Featherstone Rovers 22. Wakefield 10 with a kick to come. And Rovers, Joe, are in dreamland at the minute.
Well, the 40-20 always gives a team that feeling of we can achieve something here, and certainly they did there, sending it left straight away on the short side from the scrum. Teams now drop 10 metres back, just a little bit more space, and when you've got a powerful runner like Chris Alugia at your disposal, you can take full advantage of that, which is what he did there.
Absolutely superb from Featherstone Rovers, who've come out of this. They've dominated this game, really, Joe, from that first. Wakefield were on top in that first 10. But since then, Featherstone have been dominant practically all the way through this game.
Well, since the start of the second half, Ben, I think you've seen something you often see in pre-season when you've got a Super League side playing a championship team. And that is that they're very respectful in the first half. They're feeling each other out. And the championship side is really up for it. So that they're going up against them straight from the off. Then in the second half, though, the class really shines through and one team starts to accelerate away. The difference is here today, that team is the championship side. That team is Featherstone Rovers.
Michael Knowles has kicked an absolute beauty from the touchline. Rovers have a 3-score lead with 12 gone in the second half. And Joe, it's Featherstone Rovers 24, Wakefield 10. And the other thing to bear in mind, of course, is the Rovers are playing up the slope in this second half.
Yeah, but when your heads are up, you don't mind playing uphill. Michael Knowles there with a fantastic conversion. He's been impressive in pre-season, but you would say his kicking form's been a little shaky off the tee. Not today, though. He certainly brought his kicking boots.
Rovers have really stepped this up a gear or two at the start of this second half. Within 3 tries, they're over the 40 now. Richard Moore's had a great impact as well since he came on for Rovers.
He definitely did. He's just come up off the field for a well-earned rest, but I was speaking to him last week and he was saying he was definitely up for this game. He's playing against the former side Wakefield, a team he's made 100 appearances for, but he wants to prove himself at his new club, and he's really done that, I feel, today.
Knowles from acting halfback. The ball's worked in field, and now Darryl Griffin gets the offload away. But Rovers there.
It's asked them with the knock-on, unfortunately, and it's a real shame that, because Featherstone had the wind in their sails.
The first mistake Rovers have really made in the second half, and we've got nearly 13 minutes gone. Been an almost perfect opening to the second half.
Yeah, it's definitely been one-way traffic virtually. Wakefield looked a little promising in those opening encounters, but mostly Featherstone have been in control, and Wakefield will look to get a foothold now with this scrum on the 40-metre line. They just need a completed set, really, and Featherstone will do everything they can to disrupt that.
The other impressive thing from Rovers has been the defensive efforts they've been putting in as well. Here's Jacob Miller. No, it's not, sorry, Miller.
Alugia with the one-on-one tackle there. Just what you needed. Gibson's running at him, tried to do the same that Alugia had done against him on the Wakefield line to score his try. But Alugia was having none of it and makes the one-on-one tackle.
Rodney moves that ball in field, another man. Good defence from Rovers. Wakefield just inside the Rovers half. Then here's Arona again. Shows it and then goes himself. Runs straight at Darryl Griffin, straight at Johnny Davis, and straight at Andy Bostock. And I'm not Andy Bostock.
Whoa! Kiel Carlisle there. Andy
Kiel
Bostock must have lost
Carlisle,
a couple of pounds if you're mixing up them two.
But Finn again now. Miller. That's a great kick. But what a take on that far side. That was by Kyron Johnson.
Kiel Carlisle now leaving the field and Sam Day making his introduction. Man with plenty of pace. They'll try to burst away a couple of times and you fancy burn through this tiring Wakefield team.
And Rovers get a penalty. Interference at the play of the ball. Rovers will take that. Holding down, says the referee. Ian Hardman just having a chat with him. So Anthony Thacker is going to find touch here. And Rovers are going to start on halfway. Something happened below us, but I don't know what there. Here are Rovers then. Sam Day with his first introduction, moves that ball right. Brad Tagg's also back on. Here's Johnny Davis now. Finds Ian Hardman, almost saw a gap but closed quickly. Rovers 35 out, centre field. Quick play of the ball. Sammy Day, that's a great scoop. Just what you were talking about. Against the tiring defence, a quick 15 metres made. A drop-off pass to Michael Knowles. Rovers 12 metres out. Midway between the left-hand upright and the sideline. Moved in field though. Aston now. Hardman. Works out further on that far side, but Karen Johnson forced him to touch. Good defence from the Wildcats on that occasion. But Rovers again showing how dangerous they can be, Joe, with ball in hand.
Definitely spreading the play beautifully there from one side to the other, creating chances, and Wakefield are looking under threat every time they see Featherstone approaching their line.
It's difficult, and if you came into this match as an outsider knowing nothing about rugby league, and I said to you, one of these teams is a league higher than theirs, you wouldn't know which one it was, would you? You'd think it was Featherstone.
Definitely, your money would be on Featherstone. And the way they're playing today, they're looking like a team that can compete against Super League sides. They'll have another test again next week against the Rhinos, but you'd be fancying to put on a show there on Friday night.
So here are Trinity then, stuck on their own 20. Liam Finn comes right. But that defence from Rovers, 2, 3, 4 men in the tackle every time. Closing the plays down so quickly, so alert. And it looks like Wakefield are the team that are tiring, Joe.
Definitely, and up until that point, it had been looking like the discipline was better from Featherstone. They just need to make sure that they don't let something slip into their game. They're offside, complacent, and Kyron's unable to salvage that ball. So Wakefield are going to be on the attack here. They will have a chance to put Featherstone under pressure.
Can this Rovers defence match up? Let's find out. Here at Trinity then. 5 metres inside the Rovers 20.
It has been the one area of frailty for the Rovers, really. They've been under pressure a couple of times, and it's always looked like Wakefield could score, really. The line defence hasn't been stellar so far.
Craig Hughes is back on for Wakefield. Here's Miller, though. That's a great drive, but a good defence on that occasion. Finn. Ball's worked out left. And Wakefield there are held up, so that's better defence. Good line defence on that occasion. Johnny Davis was in that tackle. Ian Hardman as well, I think. And Corey Aston. Corey Aston's really impressed since he came on, hasn't he?
Well, John Sharp spoke about this. He's said that there'll be competition for places in the team, and so that creates a need for performances from all players. Corey Aston's clearly come onto the field and seen this as his opportunity to impress.
Here's Liam Finn now. Through the hands it goes. Miller on the bounce. It goes out wide. It's stretched out further to that left-hand edge. But Rovers' defence again is absolutely outstanding. Superb defence. What's the referee saying though?
He's taken the time off to speak off to his touch judge over on that far side.
Waving the players away. Touch judge, I think, has seen something.
Regardless of what's occurred, it was fantastic scrambling defence from the Rovers. 1 minute Wakefield had men over on that far side. They have earned a penalty, but ultimately Featherstone had got the men over there and they've stopped the try being scored. However, it's turned out.
So this is a real test now for Rovers. Jacob Miller moves that ball inside. Finn again. Aroni, but that's good defence from Rovers. But Wakefield still got 4 tackles in the bag, and Aroni's held up a metre short. And there's another penalty for not clearing the ruck.
Another penalty on their own line. This will be a real test for Featherstone.
There's Craig Hubie with that first drive. He's a metre short. There's Aaron York. But good defence. Rovers manning up on Aaron York there. Able to keep him out. Finn goes himself though. It had to be Liam Finn of all the people who was going to score. In the end, the penalties just proving too much for Rovers, and they just weren't able to react quickly enough from the acting halfback Liam Finn, who was able to dive over under the sticks. And with 20 left, it's now Featherstone Rovers 24, Wakefield Trinity 14.
Well, the Rovers' defence had been impressive up to that point. They'd been holding Wakefield out. 2 really stern tackles in the build-up to the try, but it's a disappointing way to concede. Liam Finn flops over from the foot of the ruck, scores easy as you like, and sure enough converts in a similar fashion. Not the way that Featherstone would have wanted to concede, having held out so strong in that time. They'd have been looking to keep Wakefield out for the rest of this half. Now though, they need to strike back, because otherwise this match could start to swing for their opposition, and what was a really promising part of pre-season could be where we see it slip down.
Jack Ormondroyd has been withdrawn for Rovers.
Andy Bostock's entered the field in his place. Usually a man we see introduced in this manner, but of course he started the game today. Like you say, a similar play in terms of his offloading game with Rich and Moore, so the 2 being spelled alternately. That was a little high by the looks of it from Alusia, but Featherstone have come away with the ball. I think that tackle, it wasn't on Gibson.
Rovers have come up with the ball. The referee stops the clock. I couldn't see the tackle because Jamie was stood in my way.
I believe this could be Caton Brown over on that edge for Wakefield. The touch judge is talking to the referee. To be honest, it did look like a high shot from Alusia to me.
What's the referee going to say here? Is he going to wait till the treatment's finished, or he's just having a word there with Chris Alusia? I don't know if there's any action going to be taken here, you know. Peyton Brown has taken his position. Alusia's hovering not far away. The referee is walking away. No action's taken.
Well, he's spoken to his touch judge there. You don't know whether the initial contact might have been low enough, and then sometimes it rides up. It looks much worse to us from up here. They play the ball, though, now over on this left side. It comes into Griffin, and Griffin's got to drive that ball in. Create a platform for the Rovers.
Sam Day, then Rovers looking for a response now. They get a penalty for not clearing the ruck. It's an 8-point lead with 17 and a half left on the clock. It's a quick drive in there from Griffin, I think it is. And it's held up. So Griffin will play the ball today. Day moves it in field to Andy Bostock. Bostock, Griffin, Moore. What a front row that is. Options in the front row. The ball comes left though. Here's Thackeray now. Cut out pass to Aluja, who's on a hat trick, but well closed down on that occasion. Michael Knowles in halfback finds Thackeray. Andy Bostock again tries to wriggle away, but he's well wrapped up on that occasion. Sam Day finds Thackeray again. Thackeray to Aston. Aston to Hardman. Hardman moves it out wide further, but quick hands from Rovers, but good defence from Wakefield. Aston again. Puts a crossfield kick in. That's carried out. Now taken out on the full, sorry. What's that? Hang on 1 minute. What's the touch judge seen here? I thought that kick was taken on the full in goal. The touch judge.
Yeah, realistically, we don't want a kick to be going into the in-goal area. We want it landing just before where those Featherstone players can compete for it. And if a Wakefield man does manage to take the ball, he's not going to let them escape with that 20-metre restart being all the more valuable this year. Featherstone now letting Wakefield lift their heads up and get a bit of a roll on with that penalty given away for offside.
Not much depth on the kick though from Liam Finn. Maybe only 10 metres made, so the Wildcats starting 5 minutes inside the Rovers half. Here's the first drive in from Chris Anakin. So Wildcats on the Rovers 40. Liam Finn. Here's Arona. Crowder there. Michael Knowles going in on Crowder. He thought the ball would come away. Here's Finn. Through the hands it goes. That's good play. But Rovers just doing well to hold out there. Miller's pass, it was out wide. Here's Miller again now. Shows it once. He'll take on the line. He'll finally in Finn. Finn moves it on to Crowder. Crowder going for the line. Good defence from Featherstone Rovers. But there's a penalty for not clearing the ruck. Massive disappointment there for Featherstone Rovers, not clearing the ruck, so the Wildcats are going to get a full 6 tackles in the Rovers 10. There's the tap. Here's Liam Finn now. Finn moves it on to Arona. It's still 15 minutes left here at the Big Fella Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 24, Wakefield 16. Here's Liam Finn trying to dance through again, but good defence on that occasion. There's a scoop from Anakin. He moves that ball out wide, but good defence again by Rovers on Craig Hubie. So here's that. Oh, almost through. There goes Wakefield with Arona again. Here he is again, Arona. He puts a kick in. Oh, that's just run dead. So Featherstone Rovers survive with outstanding defence. A quick tap from Ian Hardman to Briscoe. Who makes 15 metres, and Joe, what a defensive effort that is from Featherstone Rovers. As on comes Kyle Briggs and off comes Anthony Thackeray.
Definitely, we're playing these Super League sides for a test, and we were tested there. We had our backs up against the wall, but Featherstone held out. They've got the reward now. It's kicking in the ruck, and so it's going to be a penalty for Featherstone. They've got to get away into the Wakefield half. Look to spring an attack now.
Jack Ormondroy is also going to come on in a minute. Off comes Darryl Griffin. Back on comes Jack Ormondroy. So Rovers now with another opportunity to attack this Wakefield line. Here's Brad Tagg. Rovers on the 20, centre field. Ball goes right. Corey Aston, if that ball's gone to ground, referee wipes the tackle count. That's been put down by Wakefield, says the referee. So Rovers then bringing that ball in again with Bradley Tagg again. Ostock. Move the hands to Briggs. Briggs with a cut-out pass. And Featherstone Rovers are over in the corner with Scott Turner. Absolutely superb play from the play of the ball. It was through the hands of Kyle Briggs. Briggs missed out Chris Aluja altogether. And Scott Turner had acres of room to drop over in the corner. And it's now Featherstone Rovers to restore the 3-score lead. It's Featherstone Rovers 28, Wakefield Trinity 16.
Well, you've seen it as Aluja getting skipped out, Ben. I think that shows quite how classy Chris Aluja has been there, because he's taken the ball from Briggs, drawn his man, and been able to put his wingman Scott Turner in sublimely to send him over for the try. That means we've already seen 2 tries from him on debut, having only played in this second half, and now he's got a try assist, putting in his wingman perfectly. The perfect display really from a centre. It's exactly what you want to see, and now I think we've got James Kitchen entering the field.
I thought that Chris Aluja had missed out on that play. It must have been mistaken. I do apologise. But Michael Knowles then with the ball in hand, ready to convert to another try. It looks like it's Bradley Tagg who's coming off for James Kitchen. And James Kitchen is another man who's really impressed in these pre-season games. He's also taken a place for a squad place, isn't he, Joe?
Definitely, and now with the displays we've seen of these players, it does lay quite a gauntlet, though. He's going to have to really show something today, but he will have the opportunity in this final 10 minutes.
I thought Brad Tagg was coming off his nuts. He's just positioned himself here on this tight to his left-hand touchline. So it's Michael Knowles with the conversion attempt. He's pulled that one just to the left, so no conversion to that one. It's a 2-score lead with 11.5 left. It's Featherstone Rovers 28, Wakefield Trinity 16, Joe.
Yeah, Knowles there taking the conversion just before he leaves the field to an applause. And so it's James Kitchen who comes on in place of Michael Knowles. Kitchen looking to impress here.
Indeed, and Wakefield have also made an interchange. As Hardman takes that kick off, and here's that first great drive in. So 11 minutes left, a 12-point lead. Will Rovers, if they get up there, do they think about a drop goal, or do they just make it a 3-score lead, or do they push on for more points?
Pre-season for me, you're looking to try and form partnerships and find ways to score tries. That's what Featherstone will do if they get down that end of the field.
Here's Kitchen. Oh, looks a fumble that, and he has. He's knocked it on. Unfortunate there for James Kitchen. Just on his own 40-metre line. So 10.5 left here. 12-point lead for Rovers, 28 points to 16. And Wakefield with a chance to put some more pressure on this Rovers line, Joe.
Yeah, Wakefield with an opportunity here, and therefore that's an opportunity for Featherstone's defence to stand firm, show what they can do, because that has been the downfall of the team today. When under pressure, deep in their own territory, they have let Wakefield through on a couple of occasions. Indiscipline causing them trouble here as they invite more pressure on themselves. Wakefield going deeper into the Rovers half, and they got that 20 metres out now.
So there's the tap. And that's a good first drive in from Jordan Crowther, 15 metres out. Wakefield need points. If they want to win this game, they need points, and soon. That's another drive in there. Finn now is well cut out. That's great defence on Liam Finn. Read it superbly. Covered the ball so he couldn't get the ball out as well. And here's Hubie now. Underneath those Rovers H's. Theo is going to go himself. That's better defence. Rovers alert to it on that occasion. Ball swung out right to Liam Finn. Through the hands it goes. Well, it's put down by Scott Turner. Rovers will actually probably take that one. He went for the intercept. He couldn't bring it in. And if that pass had gone to handy, Fancy Wakefield would have been in. But as it is, there's eight minutes left here. And it's going to be another set of 6 on the Rovers line, Joe.
Yep, Featherstone needing to defend here. Wakefield causing lots of threat, but ultimately they're holding out thus far.
And there's a penalty now.
Going to be even more of a challenge if they keep inviting more and more pressure on like this, though. It's Miller there. He tries to step through the line, but just another Featherstone shirt waiting there to greet him.
And Wakefield are over, are they, in the corner? Yes, they are. I can't see who it is.
It's Joe Arundel. He finds his way. And sure enough, it's a try for Wakefield there, over on that left-hand side for the young man.
Indeed, so Joe Arundel is over in the corner, as tight to the line as you can get. And this is a massive kick for Liam Finn. It's as difficult as you can get, tight to the touchline. And with 7 minutes left, it was well worked out to the left. And in the end, Rovers just couldn't hold out. Joe Arundel over in the corner. It's an 8-point lead with a kick to come for Liam Finn. And he will want this one to go over, because if it does, it's back down to a 6-point game again. But if Liam Finn misses this, it's still a 2-score lead. So in the context of this game, Joe, this is crucial.
Liam Finn then lines it up. The atmosphere picks up. It's a real pressure cooker situation, which you wouldn't expect to see in a pre-season friendly.
And
he's not up to the challenge there. Skews it wide. And Featherstone then lead by 8 points. They can't let Wakefield back down in their territory again, though, because they're letting points slip at almost every occasion.
6 minutes to go here at the Big Fella Stadium. It's now Featherstone Rovers 28, Wakefield 20. It's going to be Kyron Johnson to restart. And Joe, it's been a lot of really strong performances out there for Rovers this afternoon. We talk about the likes of Saluja in this second half, Jason Walton when he was on as well. But who's your Featherstone Rovers man of the match?
Well, Aluji has been very impressive. We see Andy Bostock steal the ball there. A kick coming from Andy Bostock's foot, of all places. The ball's brought back here by the referee. It's going to be a scrum down 20 metres out, so it's the first knock on there coming from Wakefield, and Featherstone will have a scrum. Yeah, there's been a couple of impressive players in this game for me. Chris Alugia and Corey Aston have been very important to the team since coming on. Jack Ormonroyd, though, has been the real standout since his introduction. He's worked his way over for that try unbelievably and has looked explosive every time he's run the ball.
Jack Ormonroyd, man of the match?
Absolutely, and Andy Bostock there, he is really in the centre of things at the moment. Almost working his way over the line, but he's held up.
So Jack Ormonroyd is man of the match. Andy Bostock's held for me to about just to the left of the sticks. With 4.5 minutes left, Sam Day now. Corey Aston finds Ian Hardman. Hardman inside the Wakefield 10. That's a good break there from Kitchen. Takes 3 or 4 men to put him down. That's a good drive. Here we go again then for Rovers. There's the offload from Ormonroyd. Bostock now. Gets the ball away. It's picked up. Rovers fans below us appealing for a knock-on. Bit scrappy there from Rovers with 4 minutes left. And Rovers now, it's massively important. Keep your discipline. keep Wakefield penned back.
They do need to look to contain Wakefield here, and we've seen a lot of penalties in this game. Coughing up field position. Now Wakefield on the attack, shipping this ball out wide. They know they need 2 scores and not forced out to touch this. They bring the ball back in field. They're playing it just shy of the halfway line now.
So Wakefield then in possession just shy of halfway. Here's Miller. That's a mile forward. That was a huge mistake from Jacob Miller. And with a 2-score lead and 3 minutes left, was that the game for Wakefield?
The pass into Walker, plumb as you come as a forward pass. And that one could have been seen from a mile off.
I think Joe, I bet he would have seen that one, you know.
Quite possibly.
So it's going to be a scrum down, head and feed to Rovers on halfway. We've got just under 3 minutes left. Featherstone Rovers lead with a 2-score lead, leading the Wakefield Trinity by 28 points to 20. And how much heart can they take from this going into the season? I mean, yes, they've got what's going to be a different challenge altogether on Friday night against Leeds, but 4 wins out of 4, including Wakefield at home, to play as well as they have and dominate like they have. They can take so much from this, can't they, Joe?
Definitely is a positive, but it's important not to get too carried away by the way things go in pre-season when there's unlimited interchange. Of course, under John Bastian, we had a very impressive pre-season, but it didn't materialise to too much. Once competitive rugby starter, John Davis then running the ball inside here, he gets the ball out, it's Ormond Royd, our man of the match, who takes the ball and eventually takes the tackle.
Kitchen takes on the line himself. Rovers just shy of the 20. It's the last tackle now. It's on the 20. Sam Day goes right. It's Corey Aston's kick through. That's a great kick. Look at the chase. But Wakefield just able to stay in the field of play. But a great kick chase on Rovers with less than 2 minutes on the clock.
Definitely, and that's more like we need to see from Corey Aston on the kick. That one wasn't high and looping. There was no chance of Wakefield taking it and getting that 20-metre restart. Ultimately, if it doesn't result in a try, it's okay because Wakefield is still needing to come from deep as they're doing here.
Penning Wakefield back. We're into the last 60 seconds on the stadium clock. Featherstone Rovers 28, Wakefield 20. Liam Finn moves that ball out wide. But a great tackle by James Kitchen. That's the last tackle, says the referee. Finn dinks one. Miller surely offside. That's off of Rovers' hands, so that'll be back to 1. What's the referee saying here? What's the referee said here? He said it was off a shoulder. Clock is stopped, and I fancy that. It's going to be that is going to be it. It's a turnover, and there goes the game for Wakefield. Just a quick rundown of what's happened in this enthralling game here at the Big Fella Stadium. Jacob Miller got Wakefield off to a perfect start inside the opening 5 minutes with a try converted by Liam Finn. Anthony Thackeray then hit back for Rovers less than 10 minutes later with a try converted. Conversion. Mazivi went over for a try but couldn't convert. But in the second half, 2 tries in 3 minutes from Chris Aluja stretched Rovers out to a 24-10 lead after both the conversions from Michael Knowles. Liam Finn hit back with a converted try for Wakefield to stretch them back within 8 points. Before Scott Turner went over for a try himself, not converted. Joe Arundel got the last score of the game, again not converted. 28 points to 6. 28 points to 20, sorry, for Rovers. Joe.
Well, it's been an impressive display from Featherstone as good bit of game management to close this out from Carl Briggs. Pulling that kick out on the bounce 10 metres from the Wakefield line, so they're going to have to come from 90 metres away if they want to score a try again in this game. The stadium clock's been put up to just over a minute, so you fancy that will be accurate now. There's not much better you can do for confidence in pre-season than secure a victory against the Super League team. There is one step better you can go with that, and that's when that Super League team is one of your local rivals. Featherstone have done that today against Wakefield as we see another differential penalty.
Joanne, you don't know what you're missing today.
Offside at the scrum, catching people out clearly with this rule change, and so it's going to be a tap just shy of halfway. Gibson runs the ball in, but he's met firmly by the tackle from Kyle Briggs. Alusia Normanroyd then quick to join him.
So here are Wakefield and Liam Finn. Pass through there, but good defence from Rovers. We're into the last 30 seconds. CO from acting halfback finds it. Craig Hubie now. Hubie gets the ball away to CO. CO through the hands it goes. But great defence from Rovers again. And there's a howler. It's a knock on that. It's a knock on, and there goes the full-time hooter. Featherstone Rovers have beaten Wakefield Trinity. Joe, what a performance.
28 points to 20. 2 scores, the victors against the Super League side, a Super League side who Featherstone love to beat.
And there's been so many strong performances. We talked about Jack Ormondroyd, our man of the match this afternoon, but we're looking the lights to the first half at people like Jason Walton, who ran that ball in so strongly. And the halfbacks as well have played well. But it's been all across the park. The defensive effort today and the fighting for each other has been superb.
Well, we've already seen a lot of impressive displays in pre-season, and today we saw 3 people come into their team. Chris Alusia scored 2 tries, having only played the second half. You can't ask for much more than that. He's then put his wingman in on top of that and shown an impressive couple of plays in defence. Other than that, we've got the 2 lads coming in on dual reg, and they've shown that they'll buy into the mentality and they'll look to perform for this team. It was only a pre-season friendly. They're not playing for their own club, but they still went all out once they came onto the field, and they can add something to this team. There's going to be plenty of competition for players, and that can only make this Featherstone Rovers team stronger.
It's going to be a different proposition altogether on Friday night with a visit of the Rhinos. Yes, they were the 3. They had a poor season last season. But what can Rovers take from this into next week on Friday?
Well, it's an attitude, definitely, because they're under cautious early doors. Wakefield were looking the more impressive team, but Featherstone had some character about them, and they rose to the occasion from that point. At some points, the work got a little hard, and sometimes they were defending, they were up against it, and they weren't that good in moments. It wasn't a perfect performance from Featherstone. They leaked too many points when defending on their own line. But they always came back against Wakefield, and that's why they came out as the victors. If they do that against Leeds, they'll perform in that game and they'll look good coming into the season. If they do that in the Championship, they're unstoppable.
Thank you for your company this afternoon, Joe. It's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure.
Hopefully, Joanne will be back on Friday. Hope you are feeling better if you're listening. It is full time here, though, at the Big Fella Stadium. Victory for Featherstone. It's 4 out of 4 in pre-season. It's finished. Featherstone Rovers 28, Wakefield 20.